Am I the a-hole for being active early in the morning and disturbing my neighbors? I'm a single dad living in a semi-detached house. My toddler loves sleeping in. And I love sleeping. I prefer late nights and late mornings. Then I had new neighbors several months ago. They too have a toddler who constantly cries throughout the night, but it happens. Not every toddler is the same. But the man often works on call and is up throughout the night, which means I'm waking up every time he goes to work. The woman has a 7 a.m. alarm and snoozes it for 5 minutes until 7:30. And on weekends they are up at 8 a.m. loudly talking and playing with their kid. Thankfully my kid sleeps through it. But after months of this I'm now an early bird. I go to bed early and I'm awake early. So now, I start the day at 7. Every day including weekends. I'm up and down the stairs getting stuff ready for school. I'm cleaning out my rabbit's cage. Whatever I need to do, I do. I'm not going out of my way to be loud, just doing what I used to do later in the morning sooner. Of course they now have a problem with this because on the days the man has to sleep in because he was on call he can't, cause I'm awake. The woman on her days off is now being woken up at 7 a.m. and so can't exactly snooze me. And on weekends when they decide to sleep in after a night out and a hangover I'm up and down the stairs. They asked me not to start my day so early. I'm waking them up. I told them it's really their fault. Before they moved in I'd be waking up much later, but their alarms and loudness conditioned me to wake up early. Told them I tried speaking to them about it and they can't help it. So, am I really the a-hole for something they practically created?
Not the a-hole. You're not going out of your way to be loud, just living your life at a reasonable time. They created the situation by being loud early in the morning themselves. You've also tried to address the issue with them previously.
Tell them the same things they told you when you went to them about their noise level bothering you, not the a-hole.
I have one word for your neighbors: earplugs. Not the a-hole.
Exactly. Unfortunately, that's the life of living anywhere you share walls. An elderly woman used to live beneath me. 99% of the time she was so quiet I try to be quiet too. And it was heaven. But she moved out and 2 college kids moved in and my peace and quiet was gone. It sounds like they stomped through their apartment instead of walking and I can hear them talking. It's incredibly annoying. But as I said, those are the breaks of apartment living. I never said a word. I bought noise-canceling headphones and still try to be as quiet as I can and hope that someday they learn to be quiet as well, LOL.
Not the a-hole. I think whoever made your houses out of thin paper is the real a-hole here. I thought I could hear my neighbors a lot, but going up and down the stairs and cleaning out a hutch are not loud activities. If they can hear that, then it's not your fault. You're literally just going about your home. They need to be realistic.
The houses are about 100 years old. Can't really do too much about it without spending a lot of money.
He reminds me of time I lived in one of the commie blocks. You could hear neighbors 2 floors up and down. Running joke was they made it on purpose so people could report if someone was talking against the state. It was shit show. Was so glad once I finally moved.
Not the a-hole. You're not being intentionally noisy, and it's not like you're vacuuming or doing anything noisy. You're doing things you have to do, and you're not the one who's disrupting the peace. If they want to be quiet, they can move. You're not obligated to be quiet because they want to sleep in.
When you mentioned vacuuming, it reminded that years ago I lived in a duplex. While waiting for the house we were buying to close on escrow. Our neighbor was the sweetest neighbor, but she had Alzheimer's. She mopped her house many times a day. When she mopped, she would bang the floorboards on every push. Unfortunately, our bedroom wall got a lot of banging at all hours of the day. We just had to grin and bear it.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my inheritance with my siblings even though they're struggling? So, here's some context. I, 28 female, am the youngest of 3 siblings. My parents recently passed away unexpectedly and left behind a will. In the will, my parents left me the majority of their estate, including their house and some savings. My older siblings, 34 female and 32 male, were left significantly less, but they were given a fair amount too. The reasoning behind this, according to my parents, is that I've always been the one taking care of them, helping them out financially, and managing the house. My siblings, on the other hand, have been pretty absent. They've always struggled with maintaining jobs, and I've bailed them out financially several times. My parents believed I would use the inheritance responsibly, whereas they weren't sure about my siblings. Here's where things get tricky. Both of my siblings are now in a financial crisis. They've come to me asking if I'd be willing to share more of my inheritance to help them out. They're struggling with rent, and one of them has medical bills they can't cover. They've accused me of being selfish and not doing the right thing, since I have more than they do now. The thing is, I've already helped them out so many times over the years, often at the cost of my own financial security. I feel like my parents left things this way for a reason, and I should honor their wishes. I've worked hard to get where I am, and I feel like constantly bailing out my siblings won't teach them to be more responsible. I'm not rolling in cash either. I'm still working hard to build my own life and future. Now, my siblings have been telling our extended family that I'm greedy and heartless for not sharing more of the inheritance, and a lot of them agree. I'm feeling a lot of guilt, but I'm also frustrated because I don't think it's fair that I'm expected to keep rescuing them. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to share my inheritance with my struggling siblings?
Not the a-hole. You're following your parents' wishes. If they wanted your siblings to have the money, they would have given it to them. If your extended family is so concerned about it, then they can help your siblings out. And you know they won't because it's easier to give away someone else's money than their own.
This second paragraph is key. Extended family is welcome to set their own money on fire. No need to sacrifice yours to the never-ending out that is your irresponsible siblings.
I would detail exactly how much money I've given the siblings over the years and ask the relatives to match it.
Exactly. Tell them I've already provided my siblings over $X amount and they are still struggling. At one point will it stop? And it really bothers me when the youngest is expected to bail out fund support older siblings. Like, why isn't a person in their 30s more stable than someone in their 20s?
Your parents, by their wills, said your siblings weren't worthy of any more money than they received, and that it would waste it on them. Your parents knew them better than anyone else, and that's why they did what they did. How is this your fault? Why should you pay for it? It's not, you shouldn't. My parents made the decision on what they felt was equitable. I'm not going against their choices. I'm going to honor their decision.
Do not give them anything. They will take it all. Do not feel guilty. They will squander it like everything else they have gotten their hands on. You helped your parents while they were absent. Go no contact you if you have to.
Also, don't let them stay in the parents' house. They will claim squatter rights and try to claim ownership.
Am I the a-hole for wanting mental support from my husband after his business hours? Hello out there. I, 24 female, had a really bad morning today because I maybe don't get my position in my job that I have been waiting for 8 months now. I already work there. Besides that, I am going to university for a degree. This morning, I just needed support from my husband. Maybe it was my tone of voice or something, but apparently something about how I phrased it ticked him off. Everyone wakes me up from my sleep was what he said. And I totally get that. I am at fault for that. I had a panic attack and needed someone to talk about this. He just dropped. I put an alarm for 7 indicating I should only after 7 talk with him about things I am scared about and that stress me. He also went back to sleep without another word to me. So the question is, am I the a-hole for wanting to speak about the things that had me have a panic attack? I don't even know how to phrase the question.
You are the a-hole. It ain't not after his business hours. It's before 7 in the fucking morning. You woke him up in the middle of his sleep to talk about a position in your job you might not get. He set a healthy boundary. One everyone except you knows, which is you don't wake people up before 7 unless it's an emergency.
And a severe panic attack is not an emergency?
I am going to go out on a limb and say that if maybe not getting promoted makes you have a severe panic attack, those are a fairly common thing he already has to deal with pretty often.
It's not about promotion, it's about having enough money to live. If I don't get the promotion, we are not able to support ourselves anymore. It was about fear of ending up on the streets. So yes, it can trigger a panic attack in some people. Anything can trigger a severe panic attack in anyone.
You are the a-hole. Respect people's sleep. Always. You may not get a promotion, and you're going to university. Those are moderately stressful things, nothing unusual. Take better care of yourself. Manage your anxiety. Check out YouTube, you will find plenty advice how to deal with everyday stress to avoid or lessen panic attacks. Spend regular quality time with your husband so that you feel loved and secure, and then instead of worrying yourself stupid you can say, fuck it, not this time then next, I'll get that promotion, I'll resit that exam. Then you can both sleep well till morning.
So let me get this straight, when I am already having a severe panic attack I should just put YouTube on? You know that having these disabilities takes more than just YouTube videos? I don't really find what you typed out very useful, cause that is not how anything works. Also, when an emergency happens, you should just let people sleep?
So we've gone from a bad morning and I want support, to it was a panic attack, to it was a severe panic attack, to it was an emergency. I think you need to learn how to handle your problems yourself and to not exaggerate them for support. It's not a good habit to get into.
Update. Me and my husband talked about the situation. I apologized how I handled the whole thing and he also apologized how he handled the situation. I am already looking into how I could handle situations like these in the future. Thank you for reading and giving me advice.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.